my minions. Yes. Monday. So, this is the first time I've had this conversation with someone, but I was discussing this with my lady, and she asked me, we were discussing the concept of self-defense and what legal self-defense is and what you can claim and whatnot. And so let me lay this question down on you for a moment. Let this marinate a little bit with you. So let me paint this scenario. Person comes up to you and just steals on you, just style, right in the face, and then walks off. Or even takes a step back, but let's say walks off. And then you come to your senses or whatever, and you run up on it and, return the favor. Is that self-defense? Can you claim self-defense at that point? I'll wait. I'll give y'all a moment to ponder that and think that one over, because you hear, hey, as long as I get hit first, game on. So, bam, and they're walking off. Is that self-defense? Can you claim self-defense? The answer is no. This is why I know a lot of y'all are like, what the fuck? He hit me first. This is true. And I'm not saying I would do anything differently. Chase the motherfucker down and do what you gotta do. I'm not giving you permission to do so. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I wouldn't do anything differently. But this is the thing. So, think of the factors. First, hit you and started walking away. The threat is no longer active. You cannot claim self-defense. And that's one of the key factors. And to mind you, this shit varies state to state. And these are general guidelines that I'm giving you. Is law fair? Absolutely not. But one of the determining factors is the threat active. Is that person still a danger to you? He's walking away? No. There's nothing stopping you from walking off. There's nothing stopping you from going and calling law enforcement, which is technically what you're supposed to do. What you just did was vengeance, not justice. There is a difference. It's a fine line, but there is a difference. Threat was not active. That person was no longer in your personal space. The threat was not active, and that person wasn't preventing you from escaping or walking away. Take those three factors into consideration. The one, is the threat active? Ask yourself that. Is the threat active? Two, is that person still in your personal space? About arm's length. Everyone's granted about a 3-foot bubble is the general personal space, radius to circumference, whatever. But we're basically within arm's reach, arm's length. What are your arms doing? That's your personal space. That's a good general guideline. And 3, is that person preventing you from leaving? 3, can you escape? Can you leave? Technically, the moment a person prevents you from leaving and prevents your freedom of movement, that constitutes kidnapping. So, active threat, personal space, escape. 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 Can you escape? Now, there are some, it's situational, and everything is case by case, of how you respond and what you can do and how you articulate. You don't necessarily have to wait to get hit or be harmed in order to defend yourself. Now, there's a combination of those 3 factors that you take into consideration as well. Like, for instance, I'll play the villain. I'll be the villain. But say I come up on you, wham, lay you out, you're on the ground. I'm no longer hitting you, but now I am hovering above you, fistballed, this menacing look on my face, and I'm hovering over you. I'm still in your personal space, and you have every reason to believe that you are still in danger based on my posture and my body language. If I hit you and I'm still hitting you, all 3 of those factors are in play. Especially if I hit you and I keep hitting you and you're cornered or your back's up to get something, all 3 of those factors are in play. And you don't necessarily have to run away. There's no real rule that you have to retreat. But that threat is still active. Obviously, I'm hitting you. I'm making contact. I'm in your personal space. So that's two there. And typically, if I'm still hitting you, you probably can't leave, or you're trying to leave. I'm following you and I'm still hitting you. So all three of those factors are in play. Now, here's a big one. This is an iffy one. And my lady asked me a bunch of questions, legit questions. That hovering over one was one of them. That threat's not active. Now, the threat's active, but the person not actually hitting you, but they're in your personal space and that menacing look, they're hovering over you. But say that there are other determining factors that you can articulate. Number of people. So there was 4 of them and 1 of me. Any weapons involved? Now that threat became a life-threatening, deadly, life or death situation. Knife, bat, baton, gun, piece of glass, broken bottle, a sharp fucking pen or a pencil or a pen. Person had a hammer in his hand, chains, brass knuckles, whatever the case is. A weapon or something or they were using an object as a weapon, even though it wasn't intended to be a weapon. Age. If I'm 80 years old and a 20-year-old is coming at me, that's a determining factor. Even size and weight. I'm like 5'8". If someone's fucking 7 foot, 300 pounds is coming at me, problem. Now there's a scenario in which, now professionally speaking, gender is not a factor that women can use. You cannot say you feared for your life or felt threatened because that person was a man. I'm talking about women who work security, military, law enforcement. They're in that, first responder, combative professions. You can't use gender as a factor of the reason why you felt threatened or the reason why you feared for your life. That's different. It's a different dynamic, different situation, because no one forced you to volunteer to work in those professions where you would encounter men if you were afraid of men. So, professionally speaking, now, as a civilian, everyday life, personally speaking, that's different to a degree. It's shady, it's kind of a gray, but it is what it is. So, let me paint another scenario for you, paint another picture for you. I'm standing here and say, you got a guy 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, rushing at me, fist balled up, menacing look on his face, charging in my direction. He's not going left, he's not going my right, barreling straight at me, not stopping. The closer he gets, and does not give any indication that he's going to stop. There's nothing else around me. I don't have to wait for him to hit me to defend myself once he breaches my personal space. I'm not going to. Now, it comes down to it, he's coming down and I just lay his ass out, well, then I've got some explaining to do. And that's where a lot of people also get in trouble, is articulating the details. Describing the events in as much detail as possible, painting a vivid picture of what was happening. Well, yes, it was a male charging at me, running almost at a full sprint, fist balled up. He had this menacing, angry look on his face. He's about 7 foot tall, or about 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. Weight matters. I weigh about 180-ish. 20 pounds is a major difference. Weight-wise. This is why they have weight classes in combat sports. But I'm painting that picture. You can look at it and see. The person never stopped. He entered my personal space. I felt I was in danger, and I reacted to him. Even if I could say I started backing up and he kept coming. I'm not required to retreat. I have a right to be where I'm at. So, even if I took a couple steps back and he just kept charging at me. These are the details that matter. Can you escape? If I hit you and stand there and stop, probably out of anger, you're going to hit me back. But what could you and should you have done? Walk away and call law enforcement. You know. Now, if I'm all in your damn personal space and I'm harassing you and I'm maybe threatening you, but I haven't touched you yet, but yet you're trying to walk away and I'm just in your way and I won't let you leave. You're trying to go this way, I go this way. You're trying to go that way, I go that way. You try to turn around and walk away and I turn and get in front of you again. I am not letting you leave and I'm trying to bait you into a fight. I'm harassing you, whatnot. Yeah, defend yourself. But I also have to think about, when is the threat over? When is the threat done? There's a major difference between defending yourself and then it leads into being offensive, or you're the aggressor. Because you could hit me and you're hitting me and I'm defending and I lay your ass out and the threat's over with, and then but I keep going. At that point, now I am the aggressor. I'm going to jail. We're all going to jail. So you have to know when the threat is over with. That's very important. Know when the threat is done. You're no longer a threat. I can uppercut you, kick you. You're away from me. You're on the ground, and now I can walk away or back away. I don't want to turn my back on a potential threat, but now I can escape. If the person gets up and starts charging at you again, okay, then you do what you need to do. But that threat is over. Now, if you re-engage that threat, it's no longer self-defense. You have re-engaged and reinitiated the conflict. Don't do it. So he's saying, legally speaking, you have no defense at that point. So you need to know what legal self-defense is, what you can claim legally. Now, again, like I said, I'm not saying I would do anything different. You put your hands on me, it's going to have a problem, Now, can I claim self-defense? Probably not. I'm not a lawyer. I'm sure there's some other defense I can claim, or, we'll have to work that out. When we're talking about legal, actual self-defense, using it as a defense, a legal defense, there are parameters. There are things you need to abide by. There are factors involved that you need in order to claim self-defense. So I bring this up because I've had this conversation with many people, and they all think the same way, and no, just no. But anyways, thank you for being here with me. That's all I wanted to cover. Just self-defense, protect yourself. You need to be able to protect yourself, and self-defense and defense of others almost kind of go hand in hand, and we can discuss that on a different day. So thank you for being here with me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Feel free to comment down below. Be respectful. But comment down below. I read them all. I respond to everything that I can. So, yeah. Trolls, people. Trolls. Anyways, thank you for being here. And have a good one.